Hey, what is up guys, this is Thunderstruck115, and today we are going to be talking about the PlayStation Portal, which was previously known as the PlayStation Project Q. A handheld that you can use to remote play your PS5 and do literally nothing else. Now, I'm sure you've already heard of this from all the gaming news channels out there, but I decided to hold off talking about this thing on my channel for the inevitable salt flood that would come from PlayStation fanboys trying to defend this thing. And the reward for my patience was a video by SmashJT, a channel that I can only describe as a mix between Dreamcast Guy and Review Tech USA. The title of the video we are going to be watching is Here's Why the PlayStation Portal is Not Stupid. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of SmashJT. Sony has announced that the Project Q will now be known as the Sony PlayStation Portal. It's like 10th time I've tried to say that because I keep saying portable because of PSP. It's very confusing. But I do like the name. The Sony PlayStation Portal. It's a somewhat portable device that allows people to play their PlayStation 5 games on the go as long as they have a Wi-Fi connection. There is already a ton of hate for this thing online. I've seen a lot of people trashing it. People are saying it's unnecessary, useless, I don't know who this is for, XYZ, all the other stuff. And count me as one of those initially. When I first heard of this thing, I was like, cool, but who's it for? Then I heard the price point for it, $199.99 USD. And while more expensive than I would have liked, it's literally the same price as a Switch Lite. You can have one of these and be able to play your PlayStation 5 portably at your house.
Or, you know, if you're already at your house, then you can just straight up play on your PS5, but not have to deal with all the latency. And if you want to play with the convenience of wherever you want to in your own house, well, the PlayStation Remote Play app on iOS and Android is literally a free fucking download. And since you're at home, you can just take the DualSense controller that you normally use for your PS5, connect it to your phone via Bluetooth, and play that way. There, I just saved you $200.
Or your friend's house, or anywhere with a good Wi-Fi connection that doesn't have a terrible ping. You can play your games and hopefully minimize the lag.
Now, I have never used PlayStation Remote Play before, but according to the people that I've talked to who have, apparently PlayStation Remote Play really sucks unless you're on the same network as your PlayStation. If you're on the same network, like say you're at home, it actually works pretty well, but if you're at your friend's house trying to play on your PS5 at home using Remote Play, from what I've heard, it's not a good experience at all, and the PlayStation Portal is literally just an Android handheld with the PS5 Remote Play app as the only available thing on it. I mean, you can technically use it at your friend's house or at work or something, but if Remote Play on the PlayStation Portal is not improved over what it is currently, then it's not going to be a good experience.
But mostly, this is going to be for people that like to multitask and be able to have their TV open while they PlayStation 5 game. Like me, when I watch sports, if I'm watching the baseball game or a football game or a basketball game or whatever, I can play my PlayStation 5 in front of me during the commercial breaks and stuff, and then when I want to watch the game, I can look up and play that instead of having the controller, switching back and forth, trying picture in picture, doing all these other things. It does give people the flexibility of the convenience to be able to do multiple things at once.
While I can definitely see the appeal in that, at the same time, you can literally use a mobile phone with the PlayStation app and do the Remote Play that way for much cheaper. In fact, let's do a shopping list. I'm just gonna assume that you have a smartphone because, well, it's 2023. But anyways, a DualSense controller will run you $70, a DualSense phone mount will run you about $15, and then the double-ended USB-C cable will run you about $5. Put the DualSense controller and your phone on the mount, connect the DualSense to your phone using the USB-C cable, and bada bing bada boom, for $90 you get everything on offer by the $200 PlayStation Portal. But you also get more since you can also do Remote Play with Xbox, not to mention there's a bunch of game streaming services that you have access to, such as Nvidia GeForce Now. And if you have a device powerful enough to run emulation, well, you can use it for that as well. And even then, that's kind of on the high end. If you don't mind the additional latency that Bluetooth provides, you can lose the USB-C cable. console. And if you're just playing it around the house, well, you don't even have to buy an additional DualSense. You can literally just use the one that came with your console. The only thing I could potentially see the PlayStation Portal being useful for is if you have a kid who you don't want to trust with a smartphone just yet. But besides that though, if you have a smartphone, then the PlayStation Q is just a complete waste of money.
My wife always gets pissed at me when I have my phone out, the TV on, and the game console, the Nintendo Switch out. She's like, pick one. And I'm like, no, I like to have these out just in case I want to play something or do something while I'm doing something else. So I understand the multitasking aspect of this, and I can appreciate what this presents to the end user. Again, the price point might be tough for some people to get over, but again, it's not terrible. I thought it was going to be like $250 or $300, and at that point it would be laughable. $200 kind of feels like a sweet spot for me for it.
Like I explained earlier, if you have a smartphone, then you can get an equivalent experience for just $90. So yeah, that $200 price tag is way too fucking much.
And for those wondering, yes, of course, I do have an article up on SmashJT.com going over all the details of this, and SmashJT.com has been doing really well. So,
alright, so this dude shills his website for a bit, then he goes over the technical specifications of the PlayStation Portal, which, yeah, I'm gonna speed past all this since it's pretty much irrelevant to my response, especially considering that the PlayStation Q is a remote play only device.
Something, again, that confused a lot of people is this thing a standalone gaming device? And the answer is not yet. Right now, it's just a screen with a controller that you need to connect wirelessly to your PlayStation 5 to be able to play those games and communicate with the device. But potentially sometime in the future, who knows? Maybe Sony will unlock cloud gaming and allow you to stream games directly from the cloud onto this device to be able to just play them on this without needing to connect to your PlayStation 5.
Sure, Sony could add cloud gaming in the future for the PlayStation Portal, but you know what else could happen? Bill Gates could show up at my door and give me $1 million. I'm not gonna say that Sony won't add it in the future because they very well may, but they have not given any indication that they will do so. And given how negative the reception of this device has been due to its limited functionality, you'd think that if they had plans to enable cloud gaming on this thing, that they would come out and say it, because at least then there would be some value in this device. Now, I'm not sure if it would be my thing even with that, but if they came out the gate and had the functionality to play games from the cloud even without a PS5, and then also had the remote play function on top of that, then while I still wouldn't be particularly thrilled with the device, but I could at least see why it exists. But instead, Sony just wanted to rip off the Wii U and charge their customers $200 for it.
And if that's the case, if it's able to do that, it makes me wonder why Sony didn't unlock it from the start.
You say this, and yet you still think that Sony is going to enable cloud gaming on this thing. Honestly, this shit just writes itself at this point.
And the only thing I could come up with is maybe they're worried that this would cannibalize PlayStation 5 console sales if you're able to just get this for $200 and stream games, that you wouldn't need to pay $500+ for the PlayStation 5 console and buy the physical games and buy all the other stuff if you wanted to go that route with it as well.
Considering that Google Stadia completely flopped, no, that is not gonna fucking happen. Cloud gaming is not gonna replace gaming on PCs and consoles anytime soon. Now, maybe 10 to 20 years in the future, when the technology is more developed, maybe it will. But at the moment, no, it's not gonna fucking do that.
Currently, though, the PlayStation Portal is not a cloud streaming gadget for PlayStation Plus premium games. The device is solely for remote play, requiring a PlayStation 5 console for optimal operation.
No, it requires a PlayStation 5 console for any operation. Otherwise, the damn thing might as well be a paperweight.
Sony said in their PlayStation blog, games that necessitate streaming on the PS5 through a PS Plus premium membership will not function with the PlayStation Portal. So the PS Portal may not replace the PlayStation experience in general, but it is something to be a companion and work in conjunction with it.
Yeah, that's kind of how accessories work.
Mostly for people that like to sit on the couch and watch sports and have this as a secondary device, or if you're living with your girlfriend or boyfriend and they got something on the TV and your PlayStation's hooked up to it, you could just go in another room and play it and not interrupt them. So it does offer benefits that upon first glance people may overlook and just say, why the hell would I need that? There is a purpose for this, and the price isn't too crazy for what it offers. And yeah, it's high, but at the same time, you don't have to buy it, and it's something that I could totally see going on sale eventually for $150 or even less than that.
Yeah, I give this thing 6 months before it gets a price drop, because the purpose that this thing supposedly fulfills is already fulfilled by a fucking mobile app that you can download for free.
Once it's been out for a while. So those of you that don't need this right away and have a little bit of patience, it might be the perfect device for you eventually. But that is the PlayStation Portal. A lot of people may not know about the backbone, which is very similar. It connects to a cell phone and allows you to do basically the same thing.
No, those two things are very different. The PlayStation Portal is a dedicated handheld that can only do remote play. The backbone, however, is literally just a fucking controller, but in a form factor designed to fit around phones. You can use it for remote play for PlayStation, yes, but you can also use it for so many other things. Just like if you were to connect a Bluetooth controller to your phone, or connect one via a USB-C cable.
Difference being, it's typically a much smaller screen because of your cell phone, and the controller itself on this is not as high quality as what's promised to be as part of the PlayStation Portal. Some people might be more drawn to the backbone because of the price being a tantalizing $99.99. So for $100, you can get the backbone and have it attached to your phone, powers the controller from connecting directly into your phone, and it's available right now. You don't even have to wait until later this year for it to come out. So at least there are options available. You could have the price-savvy gamers that want to be able to remote play cheaper. You can do it already with the backbone.
Yep, and the fact that things like the Razer Kishi and the backbone exist pretty much makes the PlayStation Portal even more fucking irrelevant than it already was. And the fact that they're only half the price of the PlayStation Portal while offering so much more just only makes me even more baffled as to why the PlayStation Portal even exists.
If you want to wait, get the official PlayStation Portal. You can get that for $200 with a bigger screen and what looks to be a more accurate replication of a PS5 controller. You can wait until later 2023 to pick one up for $200. So,
or alternatively, just get an actual DualSense controller, the DualSense phone mount, and a USB-C cable, and use it on the PlayStation Remote Play app on mobile that you can download for free, and get that better experience now.
So those are the options available right now, and at least the options are there. You don't want it, that's fine. I'd be interested to hear what you guys think about this. At least they're somewhat giving you the same option you have with Nintendo and how the Nintendo Switch just props up and you can just play it. So just like with your Nintendo Switch and being able to play that portably, now you can do the same thing with PlayStation 5 as long as you have a good Wi-Fi connection.
No, this is not the same as the Switch in the slightest. The Switch is actually a portable machine. I can play games natively on it and not have to deal with the latency from the remote play. Additionally, I'm not tethered to a network connection, so I can play it literally anywhere. I can play it in the car, I can play it in line at the deli restaurant, I can play it in the creepy old cemetery at 3 a.m. The PlayStation Portal, on the other hand, cannot play games natively. You are always required to have a PS5, you always need a network connection, and of course you have to deal with the latency. Alright, at this point he doesn't really have anything else of interest to say, so I'm gonna go ahead and end the video off here. Like, honestly, the PlayStation Portal is just completely baffling. Sony, on the off chance that you're watching this video, when we said we wanted you to make a new handheld, we meant an actual successor to the PS Vita. Not a fucking ripoff of the Wii U. And the thing is, the PS Vita actually had a remote play function for both the PS3 and the PS4. They could have made a handheld that plays games natively and also has PS5 remote play capability on top of that, but instead we get this shit. So, for the time being, Nintendo will continue to have a monopoly in the handheld console market. And while I do think it's fine to buy the PlayStation Portal if you want from a my money, my choice perspective, at the same time, I want to call this thing out for what it is, that being a scam. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for more, and tell me what you think of the PlayStation Portal. Are you one of the 5 people that plan on getting one? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, that's it. Peace!